Massive humanoid monsters known as Titans unexpectedly materialized on Earth at some point in the distant past. Any human they could capture would serve as their food. Over time, the number of humans started to decrease because they were no longer at the top of the food chain. Humanity still hadn't figured out how to defeat the Titans, despite the destruction of numerous civilizations. To be safe, they decided to restrict their freedom instead. To keep people from invading, the humans who survived constructed massive concentric walls that were both taller and thicker than the Titans. To provide dual protection, 2 circular walls were built, one inside the other. They could have a peaceful life inside these walls. The walls did not, however, provide perpetual security. People still lived in fear of the Titans, even after a century had passed. One day, Aaron Yeager, a young man who lived in the outer district, hopes to venture outside the walls and discover the world. He discusses the seas and oceans of the outside world with his friends Armin and Mikasa on a regular basis. They make the decision to visit the border one day and attempt to scale the wall in order to cross over. When the group finally gets a close-up look at the wall as they get closer to the border, they are astounded by its size. Mikasa and Armin express skepticism towards the notion, suggesting that the Titans might still be outside. Aaron, however, maintains that since no one has seen them in a century, they most likely perished since they had no humans to eat. The border patrol shows up to arrest the group for being too close to the wall, interrupting their conversation. Ignoring the possibility of his execution, Aaron becomes enraged at the police for attempting to apprehend his friends and begins fighting them. Captain Suda walks up to them at that point and orders the soldiers to back off. Sending the soldiers away, he vows to personally punish the group. Although Suda acknowledges Aaron's longing for independence, she finds his behavior to be immature. After that, he tells the group about a military strategy to investigate outside the walls. Aaron doesn't have to risk his life, he says, because the government has dispatched some soldiers to check the situation. A loud explosion startles everyone at once. Then there's an earthquake, and the earth trembles. The group withdraws as the wall advances violently. Subsequently, they witness the unimaginable sight of a monstrous giant Titan that surpasses the wall on the opposite side. It screams loudly, terrifying everyone, and starts kicking the wall. The patrol officers are powerless to stop it, so they watch in horror. After a few kicks, the Titan manages to break through the wall and vanishes into the smoke. There's a brief moment of silence. Subsequently, the soldiers witness numerous additional giants moving through the opening that remains. The soldiers use cannonballs to attack the monsters, but they hardly hurt anything, because the monsters appear to have strong regeneration abilities. The wounds that the cannons cause heal quickly. The Titans arrive at the soldiers soon after and begin devouring them one by one. As the Titans blow up houses and take as many people as they can, people begin to flee for their lives. Aaron and Mikasa dash toward the town's church where people are seeking safety while Armin gets lost in the throng. A small child is on the ground, ready to be trampled by the rushing crowd. When Mikasa spots them, she leaves to save the child, but in the process, she loses sight of Aaron. As soon as Aaron is dragged inside the church, everyone shuts the door, preventing anyone else from entering. Aaron watches his best friend, who is terrified-looking female Titan, approach her through the church window. Mikasa bows her head, acknowledging her fate, knowing that there is now nothing that can save her. A loud explosion at that precise moment knocks everyone inside the church backward. Aaron looks outside once more, but neither Mikasa nor the Titan are visible. When he rushes outside to look for Mikasa, all he discovers are the ruins of the city that was once his home. Aaron sees the creatures destroying the church and consuming everyone inside when he turns around. Then, in despair, he strolls around the devastated city. A leader of the researcher soldiers, Izuru, is sent to the Public Security Command for an inspection 10 months after this horrific incident. In order to eventually face the Titans, a large number of soldiers have joined the local army. Every soldier is making every effort to train and get ready for the day when they must face the monsters. Izuru will assess and choose a few of the research team's discoveries, like weaponry or tactics for taking down the Titans. One researcher, Hanga Zoe, is one of the researchers. She is a researcher who disapproves of other researchers' suggestions. Drawn to her, Izuru follows her to a research base following their meeting. To his surprise, Hanga unexpectedly catches him and makes death threats. Izuru makes an effort to get Hanga to overlook this. She grants him forgiveness and promises not to tell anyone about the covert research project she's been working on. This subject is a hungry Titan imprisoned in Hanga's top-secret research facility. To find out more about this Titan, she has been researching it for a while. When Izuru sees this, he is absolutely baffled as to how his biggest foe is able to live and survive in their base without ending up dead. This seemed to him to be very risky. Hanga goes on to say that her research indicates the Titan's weakness is in the back of their necks. She shows him that wounds other than those on the nape heal instantly. So she kept working on a device that would allow her to fly and take aim at the Titan's necks from behind. A superior showed up and told them that Titans were attacking outside while they were chatting. He urged everyone to leave quickly. Then Hang did something to try to save her research subject. Hang persisted despite the superior's belief that she was crazy because it was impossible to accomplish. Ultimately, the Titan lost control, managed to break free, and seized Hanga's corpse. It didn't hurt or devour her, which surprised me. Rather, it grew more serene. Hang realized that the Titan might possess some semblance of reason. Attacking from its back, Izuru delivered a single blow to the Titan's nape, instantly dispatching it. Hang was horrified and devastated to see this because the Titan she had been taking care of for so long had suddenly passed away. She has since withdrawn and carried on working alone on her research. Hangi eventually showed the leaders a device known as the three-dimensional maneuvering gear. Humans could use this tool as a launcher to move in the desired direction. With this tool, she hoped, soldiers would be able to take down the Titans with greater ease. But it took extensive training to become proficient with this potentially harmful instrument. Because it was thought to be too dangerous at first, she was not allowed to use this tool. But after Izuru made an effort to assist Hang, the tool was eventually approved for use. We observe Sasha and her dog Shiro in the interim. She has a difficult life because she must hunt for food to survive in the forest with her relatives. Her proficiency with archery has earned her a reputation as a proficient hunter, as she employs it to pursue prey in the forest. The city is in ruins as a result of the Titan attack when she and her family return from the forest. This makes her flee in search of safety, saving her aunt and uncle at home. On the way, though, Sasha is unaware that when she departed to save her relatives, her dog, Shiro, ran in the other direction. She freaks out and tries to find Shiro, but she can't because it's dangerous. Titans are catching and devouring some of the base's soldiers who are running away in the area. A few days later, Sasha finds herself enlisted in a protection post and begins her military training. She has received intense training, as do other soldiers, to protect against the Titans. After a year, all of the survivors of the earlier Titan attack have relocated to the inner district. The army is ready and has made plans to take back the outer district. Food shortages started to claim lives following the inflow of refugees into the inner district and their abandonment of the outer district's fertile lands. Everyone will eventually starve to death if this keeps up. Regaining control of the outer district and fixing the damaged wall is their only chance to survive. Kupla, the director of the armed forces, addresses the soldiers and summons Hangi to the platform. She is currently in charge of the troops' arsenal. After that, Hangja gives a demonstration of the three-dimensional maneuvering gear, which she says will aid them in their battle with the Titans. She almost hits some soldiers with it, though, by accident. In the military crowd, we then spot Eren and Armin. Eren is seeking retribution from the Titans for the death of Mikasa, the woman he loved. Captain Suda lost hope in life despite surviving the attack as well. He is currently an alcoholic and a food distributor in the army. The soldiers intend to attack the outer district while the Titans are sleeping, late at night. With the goal of preventing any more Titan incursions, they wish to block the entrance that the giants used to breach the city. They can then eliminate the others and take back their district. Because the monsters can sense sound, Hangi asks everyone to move carefully and to keep quiet. The outer district entrance opens and military trucks carrying soldiers leave. Sensing movement ahead, the captain orders them to stop the vehicles abruptly as they advance. After taking a slow look around, the soldiers discover that cows are loose in the city. After hearing a baby cry, Hyana, one of the soldiers, decides to investigate, risking her life in the process. Eren pursues her, and together they find themselves inside a demolished structure. As they go on, it's easier to hear the crying. A viscous liquid appears out of nowhere and covers Hyana. Upon looking up, they are both horrified to see a massive baby Titan consuming a human. The infant collapses in front of them and lets out a cry. Fearful, they flee. The captain tells the soldiers to keep quiet and avoid drawing attention from Titans as the soldiers start to panic due to the noise. Abruptly, a massive hand materializes and seizes the captain. The soldiers are now in grave danger as the Titans have awoken. A huge monster chases after Eren and Hyana as they run in the direction of the group. Commander Kupal detects the danger and flees with the car and its armaments as they begin to run back to the vehicles. From the car, Hange gives the group instructions to go to a nearby abandoned building. Before the soldiers can flee, Titans surround them as they run toward the building. When Shikishima, the captain of the scout regiment and a Titan killer, appears out of nowhere, they lose all hope. By striking the weak point behind their necks, he kills the Titans in the air with a swinging device. A woman who is equally skilled as Shikishima is his partner. The lifeless Titans hit the earth and vanish. When Eren eventually sees Shikishima's friend, he's shocked to see that it's Mikasa. Mikasa ignores her old friend though, and instead turns to face Shikishima, who gives her a smile. The soldiers then follow them to the building. Commander Kupla, it turns out, assigned Shikishima to help with the mission. That day, Shikishima not only prevented Mikasa from dying, but also gave her advice on how to battle the Titans. They have collaborated ever since, living in a world of Titans. Mikasa no longer wishes to associate with people from her previous life since she has come to terms with the harsh realities of life. One of the soldiers later accuses Eren of luring the Titans in earlier and endangering everyone's lives. Mikasa breaks up the fight between the two as soon as it begins. After addressing Eren by name, Shikishima shows Eren how superior he is by luring him aside for a private conversation. Eren accuses the monsters of trapping them and tells Shikishima that he wants to find out how to kill the Titans. Laughing at him, Shikishima says that it's not the Titans who trap people, but humans. They wouldn't fight because they were too scared and that cowardice got them here. Then he calls Eren a coward, taunting him. Shikishima asks Eren to put aside his fears and battle the Titans for their freedom after he denies being a coward. Eren then goes in search of Mikasa and discovers her in front of a broken piano. Mikasa doesn't seem to be interested in him trying to get back together. She claims that after the baby she was caring for passed away, she changed. Mikasa then displays a bite mark to demonstrate the damage the Titan attack caused to her body. Shikishima interrupts them to show his affection for Mikasa by giving her an apple by hand. Eren, who is alone, cries out in pain as he dashes outside. She is no longer the same person he once loved, for whom he desired to exact revenge on the Titans. Hyana comes up to Eren at that point and gives him comfort. Once inside the building, the two converse as the couple next to them shares a kiss. As Hyana tells Eren about her daughter, who is back in the inner district, she starts to cry. Then, as she pushes herself on Eren in an attempt to woo him, a huge eye peering through a window breaks their moment of intimacy. It doesn't give Hyana much time to think before snatching her mouth. Eren observes as the monster eats his friend. Numerous other Titans move toward the structure. As the Titans attack, Mikasa and the other soldiers prepare their weapons. Along with Mikasa, Shikishima kills the majority of them, but because it's their first time fighting, many more sustain injuries. Commander Kupal asks everyone to safeguard the explosives, since they are the only resource that will help them ultimately eliminate the Titans. In the meantime, the man dies in the attack on the couple who had been kissing earlier. The woman, heartbroken by her lover's passing, swears to exact revenge on the creature that killed him. After that, we witness someone getting into the car carrying the explosives and taking off. The recently bereaved woman prepares to offer herself as a sacrifice by jumping into the car and setting off the explosives. Taking the wheel, she heads in the direction of the Titan who killed her lover. The Titan's legs break apart due to the explosion when she crashes into it. But the Titan's legs regrow quickly, so the attack is ineffective. Attacking their weak point is the only way to end their life. Eren is still atop the structure and hasn't yet assisted the others in taking down the Titans. He thinks back to what Shikishima said earlier and attacks them with his three-dimensional maneuvering gear. Despite his initial difficulties, he succeeds in making his first kill thanks to Shikishima's advice. But right away after, he stumbles and flies right into the jaws of another Titan. Eren jumps onto the roof to save himself after the Titan rips off one of his legs. As Armin tries to get away, a Titan suddenly grabs him. The rest attempt to rescue him. Eren sighs in agony as the Titan prepares to devour him, but he doesn't give up on trying to save his friend. He makes his way to the building's edge, leaps into the monster's mouth, and holds it open. Right before Armin falls into the Titan's jaws, he is prevented from dying. But in the process, Eren stumbles into the Titan's stomach. He finds himself surrounded by several corpses there, including Hyana's. Mikasa learns of Eren's passing from Armin while she and the others are standing on a rooftop. Mikasa can't contain her feelings and is obviously upset by the news. Enraged, she pursues the Titans and ends their lives. But halfway through, her fuel runs out and she crashes to the ground. Mikasa is in the path of the Titan who ate Eren and is prepared to eat her too. However, out of the creature's mouth comes a hand. Its body soon bursts, exposing another Titan within. One by one, the newly formed Titan slays its own kind in battle. When the remaining soldiers learn that Eren is the new Titan, they are stunned. The Titan charges the building after eliminating every other Titan. Eren enters with the intention of attacking them as if he has forgotten who he is. With the exception of Mikasa, who calls Eren's name, the soldiers flee in terror. But he doesn't pause to seize her. He looks at her as his memory slowly returns, and he starts to recognize Mikasa. Then, like the other Titans, he collapses to the ground and begins to fade away. When Mikasa slashes at his weak point, the creature transforms into Eren, the human. To everyone's amazement, he used the creature's regenerative abilities to regenerate his leg. Eren gradually comes to, and eventually the final Titan vanishes. Next, there's a flashback. Eren's father used genetic engineering to experiment on him when he was a young boy, injecting him with a serum that could transform anyone into a Titan. When the government arrived to stop Eren's father's experiments, Captain Soda was also there and assisted in keeping him hidden. While Eren was hiding, the soldiers under Commander Kupel's command took Eren's parents and killed them. While Captain Soda removed the boy from harm's way, the commander set fire to the laboratory. Eren slowly comes to as he returns to the present. In a state of shock, Eren awakens to discover that the soldiers have bound him and are pointing their weapons at him. As Commander Kupel walks into the building, he starts to explain his philosophy, telling how humanity came together when they realized they had a common enemy in the Titans. Resources became scarce, but because they are now equal, everyone is happy. However, Eren's capacity to change into a Titan puts their tranquil existence in jeopardy. Eren tries so hard to tell the commander that he is a human, but he won't let him survive. Armin rushes in to defend his friend Eren as he is about to be shot, saying that Eren is the one who saved everyone from the Titans. As he can protect the city from the Titans, he reassures the commander that his friend will be a great asset to humanity. Captain Hang is against killing Eren as well, but only because she wants to use him as a subject for experiments and Titan research. Armin keeps trying to convince Kupel that they can successfully repair the wall with Eren's assistance because there is a disabled missile close to the outer city. Kupel accuses Armin of destroying the explosives and sabotaging the previous mission, which makes the situation worse, despite the boy's attempt to persuade the commander. Eren keeps pleading with everyone to give him a chance to fulfill his mission and aid the citizens of the city as the commander gives the order for the soldiers to fire. When Mikasa realizes their friend is going to die, she ultimately makes the decision to fight for their lives. However, the commander wonders why she is standing up for a monster. Out of options, Suda yells at everyone to stop before going on to describe Eren's abilities. While a Titan, he seems to be able to control himself, but with time, his awareness wanes. Shots fired, knocking the man to the ground before he can continue. With his final breath, Suda tries to speak but is unable and passes away. Unexpectedly, a Titan drops from the ceiling, smashing Commander Kupel and the soldiers in the area. When people fire at the monster, their bullets seem to bounce off its armor-like skin. With a single blow, the giant dispatches the soldiers with ease and seizes Eren. The Titan displays signs of consciousness as it blocks their attempt to attack its neck with its hand. Mikasa gets ready to defend her allies as the Titan turns to face the soldiers. The creature gives her a strange look before ceasing to attack, saving their lives. Then the giant begins to scale the building, dragging Eren along with it. Following Armin's burial of the deceased, Captain Hang assumes leadership and chooses to move forward with the restoration of the wall. They have to go for the outer walls, but not before they get the bomb Armin mentioned. Though Mikasa is hesitant to go back to her hometown, she must decide to keep her allies safe. Eren awakens in a white room at the same moment and hears music from more than a century ago. He looks over and notices with interest that a jukebox is playing a vinyl record. He hears a man's voice, who turns out to be Captain Shikishima, as the music stops. The man says that although he managed to save Eren from the Titan, he was unable to kill the creature because it was able to flee. As he explains the history of the Titans, the captain starts displaying pictures to Eren from a century ago. It seems that through genetic engineering, humans sought to create super soldier weapons, which is how they created the giants that are now known as Titans. But they were unable to stop the virus from spreading throughout the populace, turning people into titans at random and destroying human civilization. Without knowing who would change next, people began acting suspiciously toward one another and eventually destroyed themselves. Somehow, though, some people never became titans and took refuge inside these walls. After a while, a political structure emerged that eventually gave rise to modern society. Now that they are in the White Rooms, the government built them to watch over people and make sure they forget the history of humanity, making them easier to manipulate. According to the captain, the government orchestrated the attack on the walls to make people fearful and make them wonder what lies beyond. Aaron can retain consciousness after changing into a titan, which gives the captain hope. He thinks that by working together, they can stop the government from making people into slaves. After they part ways, the captain gives Aaron a tour of his operatives and most of the explosives he pilfered from Commander Kupel. He also shows off the old weapons from the battles against the Titans, which wouldn't work against the giants but would kill humans instead. Aaron receives the 3D maneuvering gear from Shikishima, who also assures him that he will now be in charge of his own destiny. Before any Titans see them, the soldiers are able to remove the missile from the ground and direct it toward the wall's opening. Mikasa observes from a distance, thinking back to the good times she had while still dating Aaron. As the group moves toward the city, Armin suddenly comes to a stop in front of their truck because he spots an armored vehicle. Aaron exits the vehicle and meets up with his buddies as a group of soldiers disembark and point their weapons at them. Mikasa is obviously relieved to see her friend alive, and he apologizes for worrying her. Leaping out of the car, Shikishima inspects the bomb the gang has recovered. Upon noticing the soldiers' weapons, Captain Hang becomes emotional and leaps onto the tank to examine the Titan Wars-era machinery. At gunpoint, Shikishima asserts his ownership of the missile and outlines his scheme to destroy the inner walls in order to topple the government. The Titans will attack the city, eliminating the officials from the government and overthrowing it once and for all. Aaron was expecting them to use the explosives to fix the wall, so he is surprised by the captain's plan. Shikishima feels that the city's residents deserve their fate because they permitted such tyranny to exist in the first place, despite his doubts about what will happen to them. When Aaron hears the captain telling him to put his past behind him and join the cause, the boy starts to recall all the deaths and suffering brought on by the Titans. He lets out a painful scream and informs the captain that he will never forget his history. Aaron charges at Shikishima after realizing he won't be heard, but he is instantly knocked to the ground. Aaron stands up and tries to hit the captain once more, but he blocks every blow Aaron throws at him and strikes back fast enough to knock Aaron out. Aaron is still charging at the captain with all of his might, but he challenges the boy to become a Titan. The boy is being beaten down on the ground and is unable to land a single punch, so his attacks are ineffective. Mikasa begs the captain to stop hitting her friend, but Shikishima snorts and seizes the chance to make Aaron feel weak by giving the girl an enforced kiss. She tries to slap the man, but all she gets is a kick to the ground. This infuriates Aaron, who charges at the captain without thinking and turns into a punching bag that Shikishima can't hit. Armin looks at the unstable building with his teammate Tsunagi, trying to think of a way to help his friend. Armin yells at Shikishima to stop before he can finish Aaron off with his own sword, threatening to set off the bomb and blow everything to bits. The captain doesn't think Armin is being serious and orders his men to fire. He tells his buddy to go get Aaron and bring him to the truck. Just as Tsunagi is about to charge forward and begin tearing down the building, a climbing hook suddenly pierces through the man's face and strikes the unsteady structure. He screams for Armin to leave and keeps tugging with all of his strength. Tsunagi continues to pull and manages to topple the building directly on top of the bomb, despite the captain's men firing at him. A huge explosion almost destroys their car as Armin seizes the chance to flee, but the group is able to get away in time. As they watch the explosion and lament their friend's passing, Shikishima unexpectedly shows up, having somehow survived as well, and gets into the car, announcing that he will retrieve the missile. To everyone's surprise, the captain pulls out his sword and stabs himself in the heart. A change takes place and bones start to show from behind his back. Shikishima begins to change into a Titan, with body parts growing on the creature, as the group swiftly flees. Armin turns to face the giant in disbelief, realizing that it was the captain who had killed Commander Kupel and abducted his friend. Jean intervenes when Aaron tries to stab himself and change into a Titan because they are unsure if that will benefit the main character. He assures Aaron that in contrast to Shikishima, he is not alone and that with cooperation, they will vanquish the monster. As it gets closer to the group, the armored titan shows off its might by dispatching 2 other titans with ease at once. In an effort to divert the titan, the team moves closer to it. Sasha takes advantage of the situation by temporarily blinding the giant by firing an explosive arrow into its eye. While Mikasa cuts the titan's fingers, Jean flies around the creature, attacking the weak point between its armor. The titan falls to the ground as Eren swoops around the creature's blind spot and slashes its Achilles tendon. When Jean notices this, he leaps toward the giant in an attempt to strike it in the neck with the last blow. As the armored titan turns to face Eren, he kicks his friend out of the way and throws him against the buildings, deflecting his blows. Turning to face the missile, the armored titan sees Eren changing into the berserker titan before it can seize the explosive. The titans then roar louder and move closer to one another. The two begin trading blows, but Eren quickly discovers that his opponent's armor makes every blow that he delivers ineffective against him. With a devastating head kick, the armored titan takes control of the fight and sends Eren to the ground. As Shikishima approaches Eren with the intention of finishing the battle, the berserker titan seizes a nearby helicopter blade and strikes his adversary. Eren musters all his strength for a last blow that sends the armored titan hurtling backward toward the buildings as the attack almost splits it in half. Eren screams with triumph as Shikishima starts to transform back into a human. He goes up to his buddies and starts to remove the bomb from the truck. With the bomb balanced on its back, the berserker titan begins to scale the wall, its allies using their climbing hooks to trail closely behind. When they get to the intersection, Eren tries to plant the bomb on the structure, but soon passes out from exhaustion and the beginnings of fainting from the transformation. When Mikasa realizes this, she dashes to her friend. Reminding Eren of their agreement to see the ocean together, she pierces the titan's nape in an attempt to rouse him. After remembering his past experiences, Eren is able to come to and fits the missile into the wall structure. Meanwhile, inside the armored vehicle, Captain Hang escapes the previous explosion unscathed. Taken aback by her own good fortune, she begins removing rocket launchers from her side, followed closely by a second, equally mysterious man. While Armin sets the explosive's timer to detonate in 5 minutes, Mikasa manages to extract Eren from the Titan. As the group prepares to leave, they notice Commander Copley perched atop the wall behind them. The man, who somehow survived the Titan attack, offers money and benefits if they turn Eren over to the government and leave the wall as is. The commander shoots at the team after they angrily refuse, wounding Armin in the process. The commander yells that people cannot be happy without the wall and that there is only chaos in the world. The man is about to finish when Sasha shoots him with multiple arrows, causing him to fall behind the wall. To the amazement of all, the commander also starts to change, evolving into the colossal titan that demolished the wall 2 years prior. To exact revenge on everyone he killed, the team charges toward the giant, but they find it difficult to get close because of the titan's extreme heat. The monstrous giant tries to grab the missile and stop the explosion. Jean attacks the titan in an attempt to stop it from detonating the bomb, but the monster kills him with a single blow. Captain Hang fires a huge explosion from below that strikes the colossal titan as it turns to try and grab Eren. Eren has the chance to land behind the colossal titan as it struggles to reach the bomb despite its wounds. Surprisingly, the bomb doesn't explode as the timer reaches the final second as he approaches the commander. Mikasa runs toward the bomb to try to fix it, but she is unsure of what to do because the titan managed to damage the detonator. Remarkably, Shikishima makes an appearance behind the girl after surviving the altercation with Eren. After making fun of her attempts to mend the walls, he knocks Mikasa to the ground. Since he knows that people will always attempt to fix the walls, he is disappointed in humanity for prioritizing safety over freedom. Mikasa makes an effort to persuade the captain that he can still bring humanity freedom by eliminating the despot who is enslaving the populace. Eren cuts the back of the Titan's neck at the same moment he approaches the commander. But before the main character can land the last blow, he is pulled by the Titan's enormous hand. The captain carrying the missile climbs to the top of the wall just as the Titan is about to kill Eren, forcing the giant to release the boy from its grasp. As he gets closer, Shikishima puts the missile into the colossal Titan's mouth, setting off a huge explosion that kills them both. The concrete collapses as a result of a second explosion that cracks the wall's top due to a chain reaction. Eren stumbles as he frantically tries to escape the collapse, but Mikasa saves him by holding on to him. Massive boulders tumble in front of the opening, completely closing it off. Aaron and Mikasa manage to climb to the top of the wall and avoid falling. When they eventually spot the ocean in the distance, they are overjoyed and astounded by its splendor. They don't know that cameras are watching them covertly from behind though, and a robot voice informs them that there are future plans for the two.